To kickstart season 20, I have a very special guest. He's been an entrepreneur for over a decade and was featured as India's youngest entrepreneur by Business World. He's Manish Mohta, Managing Director of Learning Spiral. A very, very warm welcome to the show, Manish.
Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to be here with you.
First of all, you're one of the rare people who perhaps have more diverse interests than even somebody like me. So, you are into steel abrasives, thermal power generation, data factories for AI. Why don't you give us a quick brief on how this journey happened and how you're into so many things?
The idea behind many of these activities was that how can one create impact at a large scale? So, whether it is the assessments or the data factories, they're all geared towards creating an impact at a large scale. If you look at the industries, they're all in the core sector, whether it is steel, power, or now we are into cobalt or the IT ventures. So that's the central theme, that how can I create scalable impact. So yes, it's diverse, largely because of historic reasons, but then also because all of these niche areas interest me, and as an entrepreneur as well as someone who really wants to give back.
Let's focus a bit more around Learning Spiral, which is primarily around ensuring secure and scalable online assessments. Give us a little more around that.
So, I've been to some of the best of educational institutes, whether it was Delhi College Engineering or my B school from ISB Hyderabad. And the central thing which struck me was that we have such a lot of raw talent, both in the students as well as in the professors. If you look at some of the teaching faculty at some of these places, they are awesome people. But the one thing which I could clearly see was lacking was the IT infrastructure or the tech stack which was being run at these places. And that I really felt was far few notches below something which is there in university abroad or any other place. So that was something which really struck me, and I felt that if I can change this bit, can I give them digital superpowers, then the same people who are running this show would be able to create such a lot of impact on the youth as well as in the public sector higher education in our country. And so that's been my mission, that let me give digital superpowers to our universities and school boards and then see the magic that happens.
Fantastic. So, with AI, of course, being the talk of the town and it's taking over daily conversations, where do you really see the future of remote proctoring in education? Do you see that will be completely AI driven, or do you see a lot of human invigilation as well?
So, I will try to take a little departure from your question and, address that when we look at digital intervention, we need to look at it in a holistic fashion. So, it's not just AI, it's a lot of these digital pieces which put together give you the kind of transformation feeling, the aha feeling. So, if you look at just a proctored exam, it seems like, a newfangled toy and with some limited results. But when you look at the ecosystem, that okay, what are the key problems which our education assessment system is plagued with? Things like question paper leaks. You have things like how do we create a cycle in which the semester exams, the results can be taken out in a jiffy. Why not take out results in 5 days, 7 days, 24 hours instead of waiting for 2.5 months? Then again, you have these assessments or assignments which are happening at college level from universities, and everybody in the society knows, including the university and the colleges, that those internal assignments are a farce because everybody is going to get full marks. And so it doesn't remain an assessment anymore. So if you look at the holistic picture, now you put digital and AI into the bucket and you say that, what can I create so that these problems just vanish? So you have solutions which today can speeden up your evaluation, also can proctor the teachers while they are evaluating the scripts. So actually we have used proctoring for the teachers. So you don't have any problems that whether it is the teacher who's evaluating the answer booklet or it is somebody who is his student. So that kind of real world problems we are able to tackle using the digital and AI ecosystem. And that solves not just for assessments which are delivered fully online, which is your proctored assessment, but they also solve for our physical exams. So an AI is able to help also in the creation of the questions, because when you look at question creation, the question creation is also a very tedious task. You have to follow up 1,000 teachers for getting this question bank made. then moderate it, and then create it and do it 4 times in the year, it is something which a controller of exam is very, very frustrated and tense about getting this activity done in record time. So if you look at all of those aspects, you put AI into it, we are now able to create a lot of the question bank using AI based on the syllabus, and then those can get moderated. So it is not just AI at one step, but a number of steps. And regarding the proctored assessments also, human intervention is required in reviewing the proctored AI proctored results. So that's how I will put it. The human invigilators, if you want them to be actively looking at 3 hours of boring footage, the fatigue, the human fatigue itself kicks in. Even if he's a very sincere person, he will, be fatigued and he won't be able to do it. So the AI sends out the red signals get moderated by the human intervention, and suddenly you have a very good, robust system. You need to look at it in a synergistic manner, and then that gives the power of transformation.
Okay. But do you really see the human aspect still continuing in this journey, or do you see it completely moving towards AI?
I don't see a complete movement towards AI as of now. Our models are still not robust enough to look at the vagaries which our environments throw at. So you have proctored exams being taken by students who don't have a isolated room which nobody is going to enter. That's not a reality in India. Now, can you have a model which is able to distinguish a stray person crossing the room to go to the washroom, which is perhaps the only washroom in the house? Or does the model trigger something which is going to lead to a problematic situation for the poor student? So that kind of nuanced AI modeled intelligence is still not developed. As a result of that, the human nuance is still there. Of course, the models are getting trained on these nuances and they get better, but still I think that learning curve is still there for the AI models, and thus for the technology also. So definitely there is this human intervention which is a part of almost all the activities that we are doing. And yes, the notch at which the human intervention is there is going up, and the models are also getting smarter. But then that's a race which is still on. It's not something which has gone into one side as of now.
Not too many people know this about me, but I used to sell business analytics like Cognos, Netiza way
Okay.
back in 2009. And it was pretty obvious then as well that there'll be a huge role that data as a whole will play in education. But where do you see the current role of big data and analytics, let's say in 2025 onwards?
So if you look at education, assessments are the clear source of big data. The biggest source of big data in education is assessments. And if you look at assessments, actually our high stake assessments are the most reliable source of big data in the assessment space also. You do some chatbot based exam, which half the people are not even seriously looking at. So you are going to get weird results. So when you look at creating data, you also need to know that the person who is sitting for that assessment, was he doing it with sincerity and seriousness at that moment of time, which is reflective of his ability and capability. If he was taking it in a half-hearted jocular fashion, obviously you are going to get all kinds of results, and then you will say our students don't know maths. But that's not the way you have to look at it. So now today, these days, the board assessments and the exams are also quite logically and scientifically being structured. Now, if you do that assessment, create big data around it, and then you able to analyze that data, that provides a lot of insight. So at state board level, you get a lot of rich insight. Now that we are able to take the mundane job of tagging of the questions, tagging it to the learning outcomes, all of this never used to happen ever in our country, because it just was drudgery. Who will tag these question items with subject, syllabus, paragraph, learning outcomes? Nobody's doing it. So as a result, there's no analytics. But now that we are able to use AI for doing those drudgery item pieces, you are able to get analytics. So that's how I see things falling in place.
This will be a bit of a controversial question, but essentially the VCs and the entire investment world goes in cycles. So it was earlier EdTech, then it became Web 3.0, now it is, of course, AI. But when it comes down to EdTech itself, I think Byju's played as affecting the whole morale of the industry as a whole. And you'll keep hearing people saying EdTech is dead. Of course, I don't agree with it either. But being a serial entrepreneur that you are, where do you really see the future of online education?
So I'm quite bullish about the sector. I'm quite bullish about the results and the impact that it is creating. Now, that is slightly different from the Baiju hype, wherein they wanted to be the world superpower in educational content delivery and everything. But the world is kind of little gray. You need to have physical as well as online. Each one has its own ability to teach. So as a result of that, you need to look at the world from a little bit of realistic glasses. If you look at that and you look at the digital ecosystem for a country like ours, I think the digital is helping create a huge impact. And as long as it is working along with the infrastructure which is there, along with the people who are driving it, it is able to create very deep impact. And we are able to, if we are able to scale it, it provides us the solution of reach. So I think definitely in EdTech, the way we are going, definitely we are going to see technology adoption, AI adoption go leap and it will be increasing. And I think people have just become now far more comfortable with technology today. I mean, we are working in public sector for the last 20 years, and the last 6 years have been amazing for us. I mean, I think the way our public sector is, with open hands adopting technology today, it is amazing to see that how the whole mindset has changed. And I'm sure that it will see a deep impact on our society and the way we deliver education.
So can you just give me one example probably where you've actually seen this happen?
So look at Haryana School Board. Haryana School Board was amongst the school boards in our country where people will synonymize it with all kinds of problems which exist in our country. Assessments play a big role in our country because assessments are the driving force between each major stage of a student's life. You want a job, you have to deal with an assessment. You want an admission, you want to deal with an assessment. Your life is getting changed by this, one assessment at a time. It's almost like that. So now you see the board exams of Haryana plagued with a variety of problems which I was talking about, whether it is paper leaks, whether it is unfair means, whether it is evaluation not happening in a transparent way. And you can imagine that for 10 lakh students, that's a million students, the impact it is creating on their life. If it is negative, then that's the negative impact you're creating on their lives. If you're making them cynics that the system doesn't work and life is not like that, you are creating it. You're putting the seeds of that initial experience that the student has got. We went in, the assessment system was now on screen, teachers were evaluating it from their homes, proctoring was on the teachers, answer booklets were being evaluated only after facial recognition of the teacher whom it was assigned to. And suddenly a lot of these problems were solved. The feedback which never used to come to the student as to why he fared badly, those answer booklets were now available for giving back to the student. And suddenly the number of revaluation applications fell. The revaluation application, which was like 25%, became like 5 to 10%. That's like 100% improvement on the level of satisfaction at a young age for a student. And that's the respect for the system. That's the respect for life in general, that there is meritocracy, there is things that we will be able to achieve. So I think this is the kind of impact which we can see public sector taking the initiative for doing it. And definitely there were challenges. There were these teachers who were had to be trained, and huge drives of training had to be done. People were reluctant. Some people felt that just what you said, that the AI will take over. But no, that's not what is happening. They were able to evaluate question answer booklets at faster speed thanks to the AI help. So that's the whole journey which human beings have to take, teachers have to take, administration has to take, to realize that no, this is a tool for us to use to improve our outputs, to create that impact for our youth and students.
Absolutely. So I was very intrigued by the name, and so learning spiral. How did you actually come up with the name?
So, we were looking for a name which kind of symbolizes that, that the learning is never ending. A spiral is kind of never ending. And spirals can be negative or positive. If you give a positive spin to the spiral, then that's a spiral you want to never come out of. That's how it is. Of course, my friends used to, definitely tease us that saying that this is one business where you guys will never be able to come out of. So it's a spiral for you, but it's played out well, and it's been quite a journey which we have enjoyed every second.
Fantastic. And Of course, you're one of the pioneers when it comes down to the examination and, of course, the assessment. This is my final question. So, how do you see you folks contributing to the growth to the edtech industry also as a whole over the next few years?
So I think what EdTech needs today is a face-saving entity. It needs people who can show impact, that it is not in the air. It's real world. It is able to create real world impact, and that's something which will bring back the faith, which a lot of people have lost because of some mistakes made by some set of people, and as a result of that, a lot of faith has been lost. So I think the first step which edtech as an industry and leaders who are leading companies in this sector have to do is to show the impact, show the results, and I think that will speak volumes about the true nature of this industry, the true potential of this industry, and at the same time show that this is real. This is not a story that one just created. So that's something that we need to collectively do, and I think we also need to be good human beings, because a lot of what played out was just seemed to not be synonymous with a good human being. So I think these are the two things which we need to do, and if we do that, I think the cycle will come back, because that's how it is.
Fantastic. So, thank you so much, Manish. It was an absolute pleasure hosting you on the show. I loved your insights. And I'm sure that there'll be a lot of revolution that will be coming around from Learning Spiral itself. So, wishing you the very best and thanks once again.
Thank you, thanks a lot for having me over here and for giving me this opportunity to share bits and bits about my journey.